Traveling with fine jewelry, it can seem like an Olympic event. One misstep and it's chaos. My name is Cynthia Renee. I'm a gem mine geologist turned colored gemstone dealer and award-winning jewelry designer. I've put a lot of miles on my jewelry, traveling over the decades for various aspects of the gem and jewelry industry. And through that, I've developed tips and techniques that help me be able to take my jewelry in the easiest, simplest way while keeping it safe. Because you don't want to stress about it when it's out, do you? And you certainly don't want to lose it or break it. So that's what we'll talk about today. This video is part of my Jewelry Insiders Styling Hacks playlist. It's a list of simple, tried and true tips that I've developed over the years that I find helpful. So please subscribe, like, and we'll catch you on the other side. Before we get to the heavy packing, let's mention a few things. The first thing to do is plan before you pack. Think of a little capsule wardrobe that you could develop for your jewelry. What's the fewest number of pieces that you can wear in different ways to get the most bang for your buck, or else the most bang for your storage area and your carry-on? I lay them all out. I put them together in little wardrobes in different combinations, and I even take photos of them that I store on my cell phone, and I could refer to them again. That might seem like a little bit of overkill now, but you know what? Next time you pack, you'll have it all figured out. You just refer to that picture and you don't really have to think about it. Okay, so it's not about overthinking. It's about thinking for the future to make things easier. Now let's get to the packing itself. Lay the jewelry out that you're taking. I put it on my dresser and kind of work it through. Some people will put it on a white towel in the bathroom or on their bed, but lay it out that you're taking and then take a simple photo. It doesn't have to be any great art, just a simple photo of what it is you're taking, because then you have a document of what you've taken. For extra peace of mind, you can upload it to like Google Drive or Dropbox, or send an email to yourself, which could be especially helpful if you're getting back into the country after overseas and you don't want to hassle with customs. This also helps when you're repacking on the way back, because you want to make sure you didn't leave anything, right? And you can sort of do a little mental checklist by looking at the photo again. Think of it as a digital safety net for your treasures. My next tip is, and you might not like this, but to skip using those fancy jewelry traveling cases. You've probably seen them. They're really alluring. They're really cute. There's different sections in them and so forth. But if you store your rings in something like this, or your earrings or other pieces of jewelry within these compartments, I mean, they're nice when they're put together like this, but when they start moving around and jumbling them when you're in your tote for traveling, they become dislodged. They start abrading each other and scratching each other. And that really does happen. You don't want to do this. So let me show you what I do. And it's not sexy, but it really works well. Now, this is what I do. I pack each individual piece in its own Ziploc. Now, these are thicker Ziplocs, 6 mils or 8 mils thick. I have a link to them in the show notes, so you're able to find them again, but each one, so they don't abrade next to each other. So I want to show you how you open them, okay? You don't have to try to pull them apart, because that's hard, just like it is at the grocery store. Just use your fingers and twist, and they will open up. That's something that only took me about 5 years to learn. So with each piece, with earrings, one goes in here, and then I fold it in half, and then I put this in the next Ziploc with its half. That's it. A ring gets its own Ziploc. Everything gets its own Ziploc. When I have a pendant with a chain, I don't like those chains to get all mussed up, so I put a lot of the part of the chain in its own little Ziploc, and then I put the pendant like this. So it's double Ziploc, so I don't have to deal with the chain being messed up, okay? Everything gets its own Ziploc. Everything that's small. Now, sometimes you're going to have chunky things or really valuable things that you don't want to get compressed. Like I have this rooster brooch, and it's pretty ornate, and I don't want things to get messed up. So with this, I put it in. This is just a bubble paper pouch. You could use a variety of things, and it has its own little hard-sided house it goes into. It goes in here. So that's something that protects it. When I have something that is a necklace that isn't really compressed that much, say this, but it's really brittle and I don't want to break it, I put, this is an agate and hand-carved alum pearl. That's in a Ziploc, which I put inside another thing, and I'm going to fold it and lay it flat. There's going to be sometimes when you have semi-rigid necklaces and so forth that you don't want to work. Store them in their own pearl folder. You can layer them with bubble paper in between so you can put a few pieces in it. Just don't try to make it look too alluring. You don't want one that has a name brand luxury jeweler on it, like have that and have it say Cartier or Tiffany and so forth. It's okay if it says Cynthia Renee, but not the other ones, because you don't want it to look alluring. You don't want it to look interesting. When I have a few pieces, like these are bangles, and I've stored them together in one pouch with its own zip. I have another piece. This is a bracelet it's 22 karat, and I don't want that to abrade next to anything. So I give it a little bit of extra protection, from being smashed and so forth, and it has a leather case. Now let me show you what to do with bigger necklaces, say like chunky beads. I store them, I coil them slightly. I don't want to pull on the threads to get them, stretched before their time. And then I sort of fold them. And then I have another container that they go in. This is just simple. I don't want it to look attractive. And I layer them one on top of each other. If it's a necklace like this one, this is a multi-strand necklace. And I don't want to have to deal with trying to untangle it. So I keep the clasp together. I put it in one Ziploc, fold it, and I will layer it on top of that other necklace. Okay, so that's the basic thing. Ziploc everything. You don't want pearl studs, like a post to be able to scratch it, and there goes your pearl stud. You don't want to position them in such a way that something is really exerting pressure right on the post, so it's going to bend. Now posts are going to bend over time anyway, and they're fairly easy to straighten, but you just really want to avoid that. Remember, this is metal, and it's malleable, and gold is soft, and you need to protect it. So let me show you next what I do with those Ziplocs. Now, once you've photographed your jewelry and you have it all safe in different combinations of Ziplocs or bubble papers and so forth, you need to put them in their own pouch. And one thing I want to stress is don't put it in an interesting pouch. You want it to not look interesting to other people. You want it to look unremarkable. So as you're traveling and somebody sees it, it doesn't look like something that they want to sell. One of the things that works real well are those free pouches, the larger ones that are gifted to you from cosmetic companies and so forth. You could put them in here. This is the one I've used. I've used this for about 25 years. Now, ooh la la, it's red inside, and it does have these ring rolls and so forth. I never use them because those rings are going to abrade up next to each other, and they're going to get a beating. So, but there are two pockets here, right? So I tend to put my pendants and necklaces on one side, and then I put the rings and earrings usually on the other. And then the way that I try to orient them is I stagger them. I don't just put them in there in a big glop and so forth. I try to lay them flat, and consider that, remember, when you have this inside your bag, things are going to be pushing on it probably, right? So you want to try to position them so that there's less pressure exerted on your jewelry as possible. Now, I know most of you don't. I travel for the jewelry industry, so this thing gets really full. Like sometimes I could hardly zip it. Maybe yours is going to be a different kind of pouch. That does look interesting, doesn't it? But I don't have the uninteresting ones here to be able to show you. Here's another, one and so forth. But you know what I mean. Make it not interesting. Try to put it together. Sometimes you're going to have a few different containers. Like I showed you before, this little house that I put my rooster brooch in, and then I have this, and sometimes I have a hard zipper container here, and this is rigid. So if I don't want things to be crushed or something, I put it in here, and so that's something that's safe. But I try to keep these things anchored somehow together so that I look at them visually and they're all together. Three things. I remember that, and I put them in a zippered carry-on tote. It has to be zippered, okay? Please, I know this from personal experience, and I never want to experience that again. But it must be zippered. You put it in a tote. Now, there's some things to think about when you go through the airport security. Oops, I forgot to show you something last time. What about a bracelet? These types of bracelets. So what I do is I do use the kitchen Ziplocs for these because they work better. But I put it in a Ziploc and I lay it out flat, right? And then I roll it, which kind of cushions it. And then the container I put it in, say if it's my tried and true bag, it lays flat in there, correct? Or you could, curl it somehow a little bit, but it's better if it lays flat. So that's what you do with the bracelets. Now, when you're going through the airport security, oh, that's a bit tricky, but I'm going to think you're not going to be carrying usually as much jewelry as I do, like if I'm traveling for business to show people jewelry and so forth. But there's two things to think about. Remember, you're going to have your zipper tote, right? And you're going to have your jewelry in it, and you're going to be cool, and it's going to be in a non-interesting bag. I wouldn't put it in a Louis Vuitton tote, because even if it's a knockoff, people think, oh, they're alert to do something like that, to try to take that bag. Once when I did lose something at the airport, and I had to call security all around the country. This was a long time ago, before the internet. People told me, look, lady, people come here, it's their job to steal jewelry, because they just get a cheap ticket and then they hang around out in the airport and look for things that they could take. So always be looking ahead that way. Now, when I do make things separate is if I have a lot of like these big chunky bead necklaces. They're big. And when I put them together in one zipper container, they look really dense. It's not like with the metals. They look really dense to the X-ray security people, and they get alarmed for it. And they always put me aside. So what I would do is I'd put it in something like this. It just looks like cosmetics or feminine hygiene or something. And I will take this out of my tote, and I'll just put it in the plastic container with my shoes and my jacket or so forth. Just interesting. Don't make any mind of it. And that way it goes all the way through. And if they do need to stop it, all they do is look in that one particular container. They don't go through every single thing and start opening everything up. Now, if you do also get stopped while you go through the security, there's a few different things you could do. You can really discreetly say to the agent, it's jewelry. And hope that they don't say, oh, it's jewelry, and let everybody else know about it. They don't usually, but I have had people do this. Or what I say is, I need a private room. And they understand that usually, and they get somebody else and they take you in a private room, and then they look through every single thing, and you're really hoping that you're not last minute for your flight to get on. So you want to avoid that, and putting your big chunky things in one container that then you could pull out really avoids that. Okay, now you get through security, you're in your zipper bag and so forth, your zipper tote. When you get on the plane, don't put your things in the overhead. Okay, I know somebody, he had a really rare, like 15 karat green garnet called Savarite. It's big, a lot of money. And he put it in the overhead and it was stolen. It was missed, never got it back. So don't do that. Keep it where your eyes can see it. Put it with your feet, in the seat up ahead. That's why I do always make sure I don't get bulkhead, frankly. But keep it with you, okay? Look at your items in there. This bag I have, it's black, right? And I wish it wasn't black, because when I look inside my tote bag, I can't automatically see it. I'd like to be able to have something that, oh, I know right away, yes, my jewelry's there. And before you get off the plane, just even if you didn't unzip your bag, just unzip it, take a peek, make sure that your pouches are there with your jewelry, okay? Because it's a lot easier to be able to handle it then than later. Any day now, I'm going to be packing for the Tucson Gem Show, which is a big deal in our gem and jewelry business. So I've missed about 3 or 4 in 36 years. And going out there, I do always consider what is my capsule jewelry wardrobe. As part of this planning, I developed an earring wardrobing system called Progressive Pearls. I'll put the link in the show notes, but I can wear the same Luxe Pearl studs as also drops on other foundation earrings. And it gives me a lot of different looks with just a few pieces. So check that out. Now, let's recap what we do for packing. First, you plan your outfits and your clothing. It's always wise to take photographs of them as a backup for peace of mind should something happen. And then for next time, you don't have to rethink what goes with what. You have all your pieces already put together. Skip the fancy cases, the fancy jewelry cases. Use something that looks very uninteresting and nondescript, and use the heavy-duty Ziplocs. They're 6 or 8 mils. Again, there's a link in the show notes for you to be able to get them, and put them into a zippered tote and keep it in arm's reach. Now, with those tips, you're going to be able to stay safe and secure and ready to go and just worry about your travel, not your jewelry. Bye-bye. Until next time, please subscribe and explore the Jewelry Insider's Styling Hacks playlist for more really sensible tips and information. I'll look forward to any questions you have on how to pack your jewelry in the comments. I'll be sure to answer them all or share any ways that you travel with your jewelry that might be helpful to the rest of us. Until next time, I'm Cynthia Renee. Bon voyage.